Orange and Blue today is back with another what if to kick off the week. And this one's painful because what if Drew Lock doesn't fumble against the Bengals in 2021? Both of the teams are in position to make the playoffs. Drew Lock gives the ball away. Cincinnati goes to the Super Bowl. Denver moves on and stays home. But what would have happened had Drew Lock not fumbled against the Bengals back then?
Oh, they were both 7-6 coming into that game, the same
Crazy.
record. And oh my goodness gracious. Start here. Do they win that game? It's 15-10 Bengals. So we're saying that they finished the drive.
They had finished the drive with a touchdown.
They had 2nd and goal at the 9. So he doesn't fumble. Then the next 2 plays they score. They go up 17-15, and they hang on. By the way, the Bengals on their subsequent 3 drives, twice they didn't cross the 50, and then the other one was a kneel out when the Broncos turn it over on 4th and 24 on downs.
Right.
So the Broncos win that game. They're 8-6. They go out to Las Vegas, which is also at that moment battling for the playoffs. Do they win that game in Vegas if they're playing for something?
Yes, because now they're motivated to just beat a good Cincinnati team. They rallied. They score that touchdown. They keep the Bengals from coming back. Like, I think that changes the momentum for the season. And now they eliminate the Vegas streak. So they beat the Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Do they call plays differently because they come back to win with Drew Lock? Because this is the interesting thing. Drew Lock had thrown a touchdown pass in that game in the 3rd quarter. He hit Tim Patrick. So if he doesn't fumble and they score a touchdown, it's back-to-back touchdown drives led by Drew Lock after Teddy Bridgewater's injury. Bridgewater got hurt on early on that first touchdown drive. That's when he got concussed. That ended his career with the Broncos. And Drew Lock, after a couple of handoffs, Lock had a pass that moved the chains to Tim Patrick, and then they were off and rolling. So even though I think we all know that Vic Fangio wasn't the greatest Drew Lock fan, Pat Shermer not the greatest Drew Lock fan.
No.
A couple of touchdowns and a couple of drives, I think, means they attack the next game differently in terms of game planning. A bit more aggressive. Could Lock have handled that? Would that have worked against the Raiders? Remember, that was a close game. It was a 17-13 loss for the Broncos. But that being said, how long the Broncos touchdown drive was?
How long?
1 yard. 1 play, 1 yard. Bradley Chubb intercepted a pass, returned it to the cusp of the goal line. Javonte Williams scored 1 play later. That was the only time the Broncos crossed the end zone. It was a pretty turgid and tepid offensive performance that day for your Denver Broncos. Only 8 first downs, not 158 total yards. Would that have changed?
Different play calling, more aggressive play calling.
Well, here's the thing. They called that game to not turn the ball over. They called that game to avoid mistakes.
Yep.
No turnovers, but 158 total yards. Vegas turned the ball over 3 times. Didn't matter. I would argue the Broncos take a different destination to the same point. That they're more aggressive. They're more aggressive, but at some point, the turnovers always part and parcel for Drew Lock. And as you go back over the time he was here, it wasn't just interceptions; it was fumbles, like the one they didn't have in Cincinnati against Cincinnati in this alternate universe, but he had in reality. I think the Broncos lose that game, and they're 8-7 going to the season finale, and they're hanging on by a thread as they face the Kansas City Chiefs. But That's a Kansas City, but no, not yet. Because my bad. I'm sorry. Because they had another game against the Chargers, right? And they got stomped. And that was the game where they had a bunch of guys absent. So they probably lose that game anyway. So they're 8-8 going to the season finale against the Chiefs.
How do you look against Kansas City in a game that means a lot for Locke, but also means a lot for his future and this coaching staff? Because you said Vic Fangio and Pat Shermer are maybe not the biggest fans of Drew Lock. Are they fans of keeping their jobs? Because you play well and you design something differently for Drew Lock. They play well against Kansas City. That might mean something.
Is 9-8 enough? 9-8 with 9-8 potentially without the playoffs, because in this alternate universe, are the Raiders battling for a playoff spot in week 18? They probably, in my alternate universe, yes. Maybe in your alternate universe, no. It's really interesting, because there's a scenario where the Broncos, they technically have a playoff shot because they've beaten the Bengals, but it's not a great shot in my universe. So are they coming out there winging it? And again, is 9-8 enough for Vic Fangio to keep his job?
Is 9-8 enough to keep you from the allure of Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett? As odd as that seems. That's why I almost want to make them beat the Raiders, so then this conversation is a little sharper.
Okay. You know? All right.
You lose to the Chargers, you beat the Raiders, and then what happens in Kansas City?
Let's go to that universe then.
Okay.
You're playing the Chiefs. Chiefs are playing something, you're playing for something. You have a bit of confidence. All right. So let's go here. Melvin Gordon still fumbles at the goal line because Albert O misses the block. There's nothing Melvin could do. Nick Bolton has a touchdown on the scoop and score. The Broncos drive downfield. Here they come. But the drive stalls. It's 4th and 9 at the Chiefs 13. You're down 7 points, 4:41 to go. In reality, Vic Fangio chose to kick. But you might have the playoffs on the line here.
Right. Of course, Vic Fangio chose to kick.
Would Vic still choose to kick?
No.
You think he would have gone for it?
Mm-hmm. He's got to win to keep his job. He's got to make the playoffs to keep his job.
There were rumblings he could have kept his job with a win anyway, and he still kicked.
Exactly.
But the playoffs were out at this point, in reality.
The playoffs
in alternate reality, the playoffs are in. So are you feeling more confident because instead of coming into this game at 8-8, you're actually coming in because you've got them beating the or 7-9. You're coming in this game 9-7 because you have the win over the Bengals, and in your universe you have the win over the Raiders. So you're 9-7, playoffs on the line. You've had a couple of wins with Drew coming off the bench, one in Vegas. You lost to the Chargers when you had a lot of players out because of COVID. I would want Vic to go for it, but would he? He couldn't go for it when there was nothing on the line.
Right.
Why is he going to go for it when there's something on the line? Although, I mean, it is you got to get the win. You're probably saying you got to get the win. You can't get a tie. Got to get the dub. Got to get to 10.
Does his quarterback change his mind? Does the confidence that Locke has built from winning now get some sort of sway? Does Shermer and Locke start to get along a little better? Is Locke able to go to his coaches and be like, I got this. Let's call that one play my favorite play. We set it up earlier. Let's do it again. Is that different because now you're winning? It's feeling good.
Yeah. And you can't you can't give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. Mm-mm. I mean, you're going to have to because 4:41 on the clock, but you can't give him the ball back and have a lead. You got to, yeah.
And then Fangio gets to use his precious defense. The precious.
The precious defense that could never hold up and hold a lead.
Exactly.
Almost never. That was the thing.
Yeah.
This defense was supposedly so good, but when you really needed them to get a stop, whether it was in that first season against Chicago, against Jacksonville, against Indianapolis, whether in this season, year 3 of Vic Fangio, they couldn't get off the field against Cleveland to get the ball back. And in the reality of this situation, the Chiefs, they couldn't get off the field. The only time they actually gave the offense a chance, strangely enough, in regards to this conversation, was that Bengal game. They got the Bengal game. They got the Drew Lock and the offense, the ball back. Didn't help. So Vic heard the cheers and chants of go for it in reality and still expected to kick and still chose to kick with Brandon McManus. But how much louder would those chants have been if the playoffs were on the line? There wasn't 5-figure empty seat, no show total, and more Broncos fans in there with more emotion. Okay, I think he would have gone for it. And let's say they get it. Let's be optimistic.
Okay.
They get the first down. They get the touchdown. I'm going to say they get the first down, and then they get the touchdown after another couple of plays.
Take a little more time off.
Yes. Problem is you've still left Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs 3 minutes. Now, here's the question. Would they have gone for 2 or taken the kick? That's where I say they would have just kicked. So
they would have just kicked. So Vic can only be so bold.
28-28. 3 minutes to go. Broncos have 2 timeouts left. Chiefs have 3 timeouts left. And the Chiefs still drive downfield and get the game-winning field goal.
And get a field goal. But is it enough for them to continue with Locke? He went toe-to-toe with Mahomes. And last-second field goal, what are you going to do?
You're blaming the
playoffs.
You're blaming the fumble for the loss.
Exactly. Oh God. you know fans would do that. Fans already didn't like Melvin Gordon.
So there's no way Melvin Gordon's back in 2022.
Exactly. Yeah.
No matter who the coach is, Melvin Gordon is not back because he's getting blamed for the Broncos missing the playoffs.
Maybe even by Fangio.
Okay. First of all, does Pat Shurmur stay? Or they miss the playoffs? Because I'm saying they lose this game, they miss the playoffs, they're 9-8. Is Shurmur the scapegoat, or does he come back?
If Vic is back, and in this what if Vic would be back, in my opinion, then Shurmur would stay.
You get another year of pencil Pat.
Great.
Another year with Tom McMahon as special teams coordinator, although, let's face it, would have been better than with Dwayne Stukes.
Sure.
By the way, is Dwayne Stukes anywhere?
I thought he was. I'm not sure.
Yeah. According to his Wikipedia bio, he hasn't landed anywhere yet.
Wow.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So bad. It was so bad he hasn't gotten to be someone's assistant special teams coordinator anyway. All right. So Vic is back.
Let's do it again.
We presume Teddy Bridgewater's not back because of the concussions. They just move on.
Sure. Right.
Okay. So
but Drew Lock's your guy. They almost did it. Had it not been for that tricky Melvin Gordon, would have got away with it. Would have made the playoffs.
Okay. 2022 NFL draft. So they're going one more year with Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who would be in a contract year, by the way.
Yes. Drew Lock. That's the thing. He's in his final year of his rookie contract. So
he's going to be motivated.
It's the do or die moment. Okay. Yep. Let's take a look at some of the veterans on the market in free agency that offseason. Okay. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky, Jacoby Brissett, Geno Smith, Colt McCoy, Kyle Allen.
The fun part of me wants
Joe
to say
Flacco.
Gino. I want to say Gino, and then like you get Gino and Locke, but it's reversed.
That I mean, I think they would have been more inclined for like a Tyrod Taylor type. But Geno Smith would have been wild.
It would have been.
So let's say, yes, they're signing Geno Smith.
And he beats out Drew Lock in training camp.
Well, no. Here's another layer to it.
What?
You've kept your draft capital, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're going in the 2022 draft, and you have all your pieces, all your draft picks. So, okay, pasta and meatballs. Well, you're not picking as high as you would have had. You would have picked number 9 overall, but you're picking middle of the first round.
Yeah, 16, 18, somewhere in there.
All right. So we're going to look at some of the guys that went from about 16 to 22. Jahan Dotson, Zion Johnson, Treylon Burks, Trevor Penning, Kenny Pickett, Trent McDuffie, Quay Walker, Kyer Elam, Tyler Smith, Tyler Linderbaum. Okay. Who do you like for the Broncos there? Or do you get yourself Devin Lloyd, who goes pick 27?
Devin Lloyd or Trent McDuffie?
Let's go Devin Lloyd. Okay. Because he slid a little farther than I think you and I expected, right? Mm-hmm. You know, so you get yourself a linebacker. Get yourself another linebacker. You're feeling good. You go to round 2, okay? Get yourself Trey McBride.
Oh God.
Even though you got Noah Fant still, now we're talking about we got mismatches here.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
You got Albert O. You got Trey McBride. You've got Noah Fant contract year, although they probably pick up the 5th-year option on him. Now it's like we got some pieces, like we got some tight ends, we got some wide receivers. I want to fast forward though to day 3. Or even the 3rd round here. You have Geno Smith and you have Drew Lock. Sam Howell's still on the board.
Ooh. I want the chaos. I want Sam Howell.
Sam Howell's the Denver Bronco. They did talk about him even with Russell Wilson when he fell to round 4. There was a discussion about Sam Howell. Sam Howell, Geno Smith, Drew Lock, those are your quarterbacks going into 2022 under Vic Fangio and Pat Shurmur. Wow. Okay.
And think about where Sam Howell's at now.
Geno Smith plays well, surprises everybody. Maybe he's not your week 1 starter, but he seizes the job.
Right. And they've lost faith in Drew, so that kid, Sam Howell, who flashed with the 3s, now he's your number 2.
He's your number 2. Geno Smith does what he did in Seattle.
Sure.
And you sneak into the playoffs. Vic Fangio's still your coach. How's that? Hallmark Christmas movies for everybody. The Broncos become a Hallmark Christmas movie because at Hallmark, they get a hold of that. They see the Broncos having turned it around with the aficionado of their movies. And all of a sudden, you have a Bronco-themed Hallmark Christmas movie coming for 2023 to Hallmark Channel.
Yes.
You have that. Okay. So
I want to get Sam Howell in there somehow.
Well, here's what's going to happen. 2023. Drew Lock is gone. It's Geno Smith and Sam Howell. Geno holds off Howell, but you fall back a little bit. You make it to the playoffs in 2022, but we see it's on the fringe. It's right there. You can go either way. Get off to a bad start in 2023. You're, say, 3-6. Let's take a look at Sam Howell, see what he's got. And also, you make this move because even though you were a playoff team the year before, again, you were right there on the fringe. Nobody's got a secure job.
No, they have to make the move.
Is Pat Shurmur still your OC? Yes. So
Yeah.
Pat Shurmur's not going to see you. Not on Deion Sanders' staff. Okay.
Shadur has a shot.
His head coach is still his dad, so I'm still not convinced.
But Shurmur's fighting for his job, and they have to turn to Sam Howell.
Yes. And the Sam Howell experience, it's up and down like a seismic graph in an earthquake. Is that enough?
Where's Vic Fangio's defense in this alternate universe?
Are they still doing
Devin Lloyd on okay, so if you go Devin Lloyd, Trey McBride, Sam Howell, in a couple of years, where's this defense? Are they closers now? Are they getting coffee for closers?
Is Bradley Chubb still a Bronco? He is.
Okay.
He's still a Bronco. You've extended him, I think. Is Justin Simmons still a Bronco heading in 2024? I think so. But is Vic Fangio still the head coach, or was the gambit to turn the 2023 season around while Sam Howell showed some progress, not enough, and you come home at like 7-10, and you're like, okay, I feel like we've hit the ceiling of what Vic and Pat Shurmur can do together.
So they're in the head coaching search.
Yes. George Payton's gone 3 years. He's given Vic a nice little sample size, but it hasn't gone the way you'd like. So you are searching
firmly looking for the new head coach. And you've got Sam Howell, who's flashed a little bit, although it's been up and down because it's Sam Howell. That's what he does.
So you're probably picking. You're picking maybe a little higher. Maybe you're picking 10th instead of 12th. Okay. And
head coach this year, I got an idea, and you're gonna love it. There's gonna be a little pain in this. Are you ready?
See,
I know who your head coach would be.
Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, because your owners are still the same.
Yes, and so they miss out. Maybe they flirted a little bit with Harbaugh, whatever, behind the scenes. Nobody knew. Now Harbaugh's won it all with Michigan. Oh my God, does that mean JJ McCarthy's
McCarthy's your quarterback? JJ McCarthy and Sam Howell.
And Sam Howell duking it out.
Geno's
still there.
Yeah,
he's okay.
Geno, Sam Howell, and JJ McCarthy. Oh my God.
Wow. Okay. Let me throw a little bit of a wrinkle here before we wrap up the show. What if it's Raheem Morris and Michael Penix?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Now you get a coach with experience on both sides of the ball. You get an exciting young quarterback. So it's kind of like the Atlanta situation, except it's here in Denver.
Maybe.
Geno wouldn't get paid like Kirk Cousins got paid, so you wouldn't have that sort of controversy.
Yes.
But I like the idea of Harbaugh or Raheem as coaches in this alternate universe for the Broncos.
But do you think Harbaugh would have been the first choice of the Walton Penner group?
Yes, for sure.
So I think it would have been him.
Okay. With JJ.
Yes. And in this alternate universe, Sean Payton takes 2023 off. He's the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.
So you still get Sean Payton in the AFC West and Jim Harbaugh in the AFC West.
You're giving Sean Payton Justin Herbert.
Oh my God. That's a problem.
Oh,
I don't care if you have Jim Harbaugh. That's a problem.
Don't like that.
And this happens
all because Drew Lock doesn't fumble.
I forgot where we started.
By the way, where's Drew Lock? Where's Drew Lock, by the way? Because
okay.
Geno usurps him.
You're right. Okay.
Well, first of all, where's Russell Wilson? Because the Broncos don't trade for Russell Wilson.
And Seattle wants to get out of it. So he's with the Commanders. Because
Okay.
remember, Washington, he had wanted to waive his no trade clause. So he's with the
Okay.
Commanders.
He is a
And
commander.
Drew Lock is where?
Ooh. Drew Lock's a Seattle Seahawk.
And he's the starter.
But the Broncos have signed Geno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Lock is the starter in Seattle. How do they do in 2023?
Give him 9 wins.
The question is, though, what happens with Seattle in 2022? Because they don't have Geno and they trade Russell Wilson. Do they draft Malik Willis, maybe? Or they sign somebody else in free agency? Maybe the Seattle quarterback in 2022 is Jameis Winston.
I like that.
Okay. But Drew Lock goes to Seattle in 23 and battles with Jameis Winston. And Winston wins. He doesn't win that battle.
Yeah, Winston wins. So Drew Lock's done.
Or he's going to New York as a backup in 2024, just like reality.
Right. Sometimes the universes diverge, right?
Wow. This is a moment, though. This is absolutely a moment. Ooh. Maybe Bo Nix is Seahawk.
Stays in the Northwest.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And all the Husky fans have got to just get over it.
Or maybe Michael Penix is there and Bo Nix is with
the
Falcons. Mm-hmm. And then there's...
Because we've changed the draft order. All of a sudden, everything looks different.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow.
Penix in Seattle would be kind of sweet in an alternate universe.
Oh, man alive. This is making my head hurt.
Yeah. Well, I forgot where we started. That's why I had to look at the list. I was like, wait, this all started because Drew Lock didn't fumble.
I know. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Wow.
Mind blown. So we have the Geno Smith, JJ McCarthy, Sam Howell quarterback room right now in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's interesting. I can get behind that. The problem is Geno Smith with the Broncos would have had me making flat earth jokes all the time, man. I would man, that pass was kind of flat, there was no arc on it.
Right. Today was
Broncos
so
are
an ice wall.
Yes. Broncos spanning the globe looking for a new quarterback.
Sometimes they just write themselves.
I'm sorry. Like, if you put out a statement that says you might be with Kyrie Irving on the flat Earth thing, if you have a dalliance with flat Earth nonsense, that sticks to you. That's for life. I'm sorry.
The jokes write themselves.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Well, what a start and what an ending for this what if. What do you think in the comments below? This one's interesting. But Mace, before we're out of here, how can people help us out on YouTube?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never miss a vid.
That's right. He's Andrew Mason. Follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.